Hi everyone, Tony Tonkin here from Wise, Witty and Weird. I just have a small newspaper item, I guess. Do we have newspapers these days? I don't think we do. But I have this item from which I didn't get from a newspaper, I hasten to add, but I extracted it at a great deal of cost, personal cost to myself, from the internet. A little thing that flows around our country and sometimes travels overseas. The internet has been able to provide me with this interesting piece of work called a newspaper, which, as I said, doesn't comprise any paper. However, the article was on a Tasmanian who's a Tasmanian Liberal, and there are people living in Tasmania, as big a surprise as that may be to all of us. And his name is Adam Brooks. Now, Adam, fine looking man, but he's got himself in a little bit of a problem because he'd just been elected to the Tasmanian Parliament a couple of weeks ago and has found that, he's had some firearms apparently, which he shouldn't have had. And I do wonder how people in this country do get hold of firearms. I understand how they accumulate them in the United States like they are candy. But in Australia, it's a little bit more difficult, particularly when one considers the Port Arthur massacre in Tasmania, which some 30 odd years ago killed 34 people. And one wonders why anybody in Tasmania as a result of that experience would have any gun at all. However, Liberal Adam Brooks has had a few items and he's found himself in a little bit of hot water. So I'll just read you a little bit about from this news item. Controversial Liberal candidate Adam Brooks will not take his seat in the Tasmanian Parliament. And, oh, well, that was short-lived, wasn't it? I wonder whether he goes down in history as the person who has had the least time in Parliament, because basically he hasn't had any time at all, even though he has been elected. So I guess there must be a by-election for his particular seat. He's been charged by Queensland Police with being in possession of a handgun, unauthorised explosives and a false driver's licence. So one can assume he was preparing to blow somebody up and drive away in a stolen vehicle. So the Premier, Peter Gutwein, made the announcement shortly before the polls were due to be declared following the May 1st state election. And Mr Gutwein, the Premier, spoke with Mr Brooks on Thursday evening when Mr Brooks disclosed he had flown to Queensland and was seeking treatment for his mental health. Now, I'm a bit concerned about why a person would necessarily need to travel to Queensland to receive treatment for mental health. We are fully aware that in Queensland, most people who live there do require some sort of mental health assistance because it is Queensland. However, coming from Tasmania to Queensland is the double whammy, I guess, because in Tasmania, clearly they don't have any mental health services. So this is a bit distressing to think that he chose to move to the furthest away state in which to get treatment for whatever it is that he deems is his mental health. So there he is, travelling all that way across the country to receive help for something which he is not able to seek help for in Tasmania. That in itself is a little distressing. Last night he also informed me that yesterday, this is the Premier speaking again, quite not with the same eloquent manner in which I'm speaking, but speaking nevertheless. Last night he also informed me that yesterday he was visited by Queensland Police and he had subsequently been charged with firearm offences and also in relation to a matter relating to a document. Now, I have no idea what he means by the document. I'm hoping it isn't pornography. Who knows what that document may be? But given the trouble that this man is in and his mental well-being, who knows what was in that document? So Mr Gutwein was referring to Mr Brooks' state of health, said state of health and need to focus on his own personal circumstances. No one's going to deny that. It is his intention not to take the seat in Parliament and to forward his resignation to the government. And thank God he's going to do that, because we don't need anybody in Parliament who is able to carry a gun, has a false driver's licence and has a document. That would be terrible. And in Tasmania, that is just one of those things that clearly one doesn't do. So there we are, Adam Brooks, the man from Tasmania who shouldn't be in Tasmania because he isn't in Tasmania. He happens to be in Queensland receiving treatment for his mental health condition, which he wasn't able to receive in Tasmania because they don't have any mental health there. They're just not mental. And there he is in Queensland receiving treatment from a whole group of people who also need mental health treatment. So I'm sure that he's going to have a very good outcome, and that hopefully he'll be able to find a way to get on with his life and hopefully move to New Zealand. Thanks everybody for being with us in Wise, Witty and Weird. It's great to have this segment with you. Please remember to subscribe and follow us, and we look forward to catching up with you next time on Wise, Witty and Weird.